Hey y'all, so today we're making this Valentine's donut snow globe. I'll be showing how you can fill the snow globe up, add the fake sprinkles, add the vinyl, and then add my new 3D pieces like my handle and then also my new donut mold. For the next few weeks, we'll be working on some Valentine's themed snow globes. So I'm starting with this vinyl that I had custom made. I have the designer link in the description along with where I get it custom printed at. I'm using a 16-ounce snow globe and I'm using these glitter or heart sprinkles from Michael's that I grabbed. I am also using my large donut again, and then I'm going to use my new 2 cavity handle mold. So as you can see, there's like 2 different sizes. One is more round and the other one's more longer, but I'll show that later in the video. And then I'm also going to use Adhesive Apothecary's Milk for Santa solution along with Kelbell Customs funnel. She is the original creator of these funnels and all of these tumbler tools that you see me using. So if you want to use any of these tools or find them, I have a link below in the description, and you use my code Sasha to save. So after I have a little bit of solution put in, I just used a little bit, I'm going to start adding in those fake sprinkles now. And typically you can push them right in, but you can also use a poker tool because it'll help it go in a little easier, and then you can just add as much as you want. I did add a lot because I really wanted to be able to see all the little hearts, and then after you have it added in, you can go ahead and fill the rest of your snow globe up, then plug it, clean it off, and then I'll show you how it turned out. So I did leave a gap so that there could be movement in it or an air bubble, and then that's how it turned out. I think it's really cute. I feel like it's really giving Valentine's Day. And just depending on the flow of solution you used, it might say suspended or levitated more. But before we go any further, make sure that you like and subscribe, more to come. So now that we have the snow globe filled up, we can start working on the vinyl. I want to do like a V-shaped kind of vinyl template on this cup. So I'm going to fold my vinyl in half and then fold it in half again. And then you'll want to cut it down the seams or the span of it. Once you cut it down the middle, it'll give you 2 separate triangles, and then you want to cut that again, and then you'll end up with 4 separate triangles. And I'll just use one of those to wrap it around my tumbler like a V shape. So you'll have 4 different ones. You can pick from whichever one you want to use. I ended up picking up one that I felt like the words went in a direction that worked perfectly with how I was trying to lay it out on the cup. So you'll see that here soon. I think you'll just have extra pieces, so you'll be able to do different designs on you know, any cup that you want to work on next, or if you want to use the vinyl again, you can use different templates for it. But I just decided to go with like a V-shaped kind of tumbler, or template. So that's what I did. I went ahead and got my Crafty Cow hand turner out, and then I'm going to lay my vinyl down. So I kind of folded the edges back or the ends back so that I can lay the middle down first. That's just how I do it with this kind of one, because like I said, it's kind of like a V shape. So you want to use your squeegee tool and make sure that you get it as flat as possible. You might have to cut off some extra, or most times you do anyways, but just make sure that you get everything smoothed down really good. I like using this hand turner because I feel like it being on a wheel just helps me with vinyl so much more. So that's how it turned out. There's a little flap in the front that I end up cutting. Just depending on how your design is and what piece you use, you might not have to cut it, but I did. So that's how that looks. I also want to add some white striping tape. I don't have striping tape, I use white vinyl, but that's what I'm using. So I'm going to use my Kelbell adjustable tumbler stand to apply my striping tape or your vinyl to the edges of it. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to cut off what's extra. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I did, so that's what I did. Just make sure that you get everything smoothed down really good. And you might want to seal your striping tape before you go ahead and epoxy it. But now that we have the cup mostly done for right now, I'm going to start on my lid. So I'm going to take the plug out where the straw goes. I'm going to use Kelbell's adjustable lid assistant. She is the original creator of this also. This is also on her website. You can use my code Sasha to save. And I'm going to pick one of my donuts. So like I said, I have 2 different donut molds. I have a 2 cavity donut mold, which are smaller donuts, and then I have a bigger one that I just came out with, and that's the one I'm going to use for this. So what I'm going to do or start on right now at the moment is just make sure that my donut that I already have made, pre-made, I made this one in my last video actually, so I had it left over, but I'm going to just place it on top and let it dry overnight. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my 2 cavity handle molds. So I'm going to use this pink glitter from It's Pretty Personal. I think it's like the Princess Cuts, I believe. Sleeping Beauty, I believe. And I'm just going to mix that in, and I'm going to pour it into my mold. Like I said, my 2 cavity handles are a little different. So one's a little longer, it's a little thicker, and then the other one is a little more rounder. And you'll see it once I unmold it later in the video, but that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it dry, and then I kind of already unmolded it, but I'll show you like how they look. So that's how my cup looks after I got them drying, after epoxying it. I epoxy it just to make sure that my vinyl was sealed down completely. And then you also want to cover where the plug is, so go ahead and seal that. And then I also want to add this custom tumbler acrylic bottom from Kara's Crafty Corner. On her website, you can use code FRIENDS to save, and I'll also have it linked in the description. You can add it before or after your epoxy dries, or it doesn't really matter because it has a sticky back, but I do like sealing it in after, so I'm going to end up sealing my entire cup later in the video, so you'll see that. But after I have that done, I want to work on my donuts now. So I added a 3D donut to the front. I did that before in a video a while back. You'll see that if you want to go look, but I love adding donuts to the front, so I did that with hot glue. I'm going to add one of my handles to the set. I just picked this one because I really like the different color of glitter, and it's not like overly pink, but it has some pink into it. I feel like it went really well with the vinyl, so I added that to the side with hot glue. You can use UV resin if you want, or fast set to apply your 3D pieces. It just depends on your preference, but I really like hot glue, so that's what I use. And as you can see, those are how my handles look, but just giving a little close up really quick. The next thing that I do want to do is add drips. I have a lot of people asking about my drips all the time, so I use 2-part epoxy only. Right now I'm using fast set, but you can use regular, it doesn't matter. I'm adding in some brown acrylic paint to make it look chocolate, and then I'm adding in flour, but you can also use cornstarch. Flour or cornstarch makes it thicker, so your drips look more like authentic. I think it looks better that way in my opinion, but just depends on like what you're going for. So I like making mine look thicker so that it can, you know, not drip as much, and then it have like more of a rounder look. So that's what I'm going to do to my donut topper really quick. I'm just going to add some drips around it. Like, you don't have to really worry about adding too much or making sure that it goes down the sides, because gravity is going to do its thing while it's drying, so it'll start going around and like to the bottom, and it'll drip more. And I'll show you how it turned out right after this. But after I have this done, I'm going to start on the drips on my cup too. So at the moment while I was doing my donut, I was like going back and forth if I wanted to add the heart sprinkles to it or not. At this very moment this day, I didn't want to, but I will go back later and do the same thing. So I'm doing drips on my cup now, which is the same way that I always do it. I don't do drips individually. I drag my popsicle stick around the entire cup, and then just let gravity do its thing once again. I feel like it looks more authentic when you do it this way, but also yeah, when you just do it this way, it just looks more authentic. But using fast set helps it dry faster, so your drips won't continue to drip far. So that's how my drips turned out. That's as far as they went also, so I'll show you how it looked the next day. And then since I'm using fast set, I went ahead and started doing the drips on the front of my donut, which it's not really drips. I just added like chocolate, smeared the epoxy, which would be chocolate, around the front of the donut, and I let all of that dry. So this is how my handles look when you unmold it. If you have any extra pieces from how you poured it, you can just cut it off really quick. It's not a big deal, but that's how this one turned out. This is a thicker one. It's a little bit longer, and the end, as you can see, like the handle part we hold it at, is a little more like on the straighter side, and this one is more rounder and it's less thick. So that's how they turned out. Also in the video, what I'm going to show is if you feel like the handle, like you pick the handle that you want, but you feel like it's a little too long, you can also cut it if you just heat it up and cut it really quick, and then you can just go ahead and adhere it to your cup. But that's how my entire cup looked after my drips dried. I really love it. And then it's how the topper look when the drips dried. So if you have any drips that run over, you can just cut them really quick. They literally pop right off. And the best thing about this is my favorite part about drips. Not only does it drip, but it still looks like it's like frozen in time, like it's still dripping, which is what I really love about it. So I didn't cut my drips completely off. I just made sure that it didn't go over where the lid had to sit out on the cup. But yeah, I mean, they pop right off, and it just looks like they're frozen in time dripping. So it makes it look or have the appearance of like chocolate even more. So that's what I really love. And then like I said, I end up wanting to put the sprinkles back over it. So that's what I did. I just used some more epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and seal it in, which you don't have to seal it in if you don't want to put sprinkles on it. It's already good to go because the entire lid itself is already epoxied together. But since I wanted to add sprinkles on, I'm going to go ahead and seal it, or add a coat of epoxy over it, and I'm going to add the sprinkles on, and this will keep the sprinkles sealed in and on the topper itself. And then yeah, this one's super easy because the donut already has a hole in the middle, so if you line it up correctly, it'll be right over the straw hole. And then yeah, you just go back and epoxy your cup. Just take your time when you're epoxying it, make sure that you don't overdo it, and if you feel like there's a spot you can't reach, you can use a paintbrush. But that's how the entire thing turned out. You can find all of my molds exclusively on my website. Make sure that you check out my new donut mold. It's a bigger size, and then my 2 cavity handle mold. I also have all of my February molds available, limited though, so anybody who purchases it, you'll be able to see all of the molds dropping for February. Otherwise, I'll be dropping them one by one with new tutorials every week, and you also get a discounted, so make sure you check that out. I hope everyone loved this tutorial. I hope you try it out. Make sure you grab my new molds. You can find all those on my website, and thank you for watching.